You helped them move when nobody else showed up. You lent them money when they had nothing. You stayed up late listening to their problems when they had nowhere else to turn. You defended them when people talked badly about them behind their back. And then one day, they turned on you. Not a stranger, not an enemy, the person you gave the most to. That one hits differently because it does not just hurt. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about people. It makes you wonder if being a good person is even worth it. Here is what nobody tells you. You were not betrayed because you are weak. You were not betrayed because kindness is wrong. You were betrayed because helping people became something you could not stop doing, even when it cost you, even when it drained you, even when you could see the signs right in front of you. You kept giving anyway. And the people who take, they can smell that from a mile away. They are not reading your words. They are reading your pattern. And your pattern said, this person will not stop. This is not about them being evil. Most of them are not sitting somewhere planning to use you. It is simpler than that, and it is harder to hear. You trained them. Every time you said yes when you meant no, you trained them. Every time you swallowed your discomfort to keep the peace, you trained them. Every time you gave more than they gave back and said nothing, you trained them to expect it. And the moment you stopped, or the moment you needed something in return, that felt like a betrayal to them. Because you changed the rules of a game you never should have agreed to play. That is the truth you have been sitting with, but never said out loud. By the time you finish watching, you will understand exactly why this keeps happening. You will see the pattern clearly, and you will know what to shift, so your kindness becomes your strength instead of your weakness. Not by becoming cold, not by closing off, by becoming someone who simply cannot be used anymore. The first thing to understand is the helper's trap. Most people who give a lot do not give purely from joy. Some of it comes from something much quieter, a need to feel needed, a deep feeling that your value to someone depends on what you do for them. So you keep doing it. You keep showing up. You keep giving even when you're running low. It feels like love. It feels like loyalty. But underneath it, there is fear. Fear that if you stop helping, they will stop valuing you. Fear that saying no means losing the relationship. Fear that your worth is tied to your usefulness. Lao Tzu says, "To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders." He was not talking about sitting quietly. He was talking about what happens when you stop white-knuckling everything, when you stop giving in order to hold the world in place, when you finally loosen your grip on outcomes. You were never meant to control. You were not giving freely. You were giving to hold something in place. And that is the trap, because when you help from that place, from that quiet, invisible fear, you pull in people who need to be held up, and they will let you hold them for as long as you're willing to carry the weight. And the people you attract when you give from fear do not come looking for someone generous. They come looking for someone they can count on to never say no. Those are two very different things. Takers do not target mean people. They do not go after people with sharp edges and cold eyes. They move toward warmth, toward the person in the room who asks how everyone is doing, the person who notices when someone looks sad, the person who offers before being asked. That person is you, and it is not a flaw. Your empathy is real, but it is a signal you are sending it without knowing it. A signal that says, I will feel your pain as my own. And some people will hand you their pain without ever intending to pick it back up. When you feel other people's hurt so deeply that you will do almost anything to make it stop, you become easy to read. And some people, not all people, but some, will use that empathy like a door handle. They will show you their pain, real or exaggerated. And you will walk right through that door every single time. So the next time someone comes to you with a problem, pause before you fix it. Ask yourself one honest question. Am I helping because I want to? Or am I helping because I will feel guilty if I do not? That one question will show you more about the relationship than months of thinking ever could. But reading the pattern is only half of it. The other half is harder. There is a point in certain relationships where you stop helping the person and start helping them stay broken. Think about it like this. If a friend falls down once, you help them up. That is kindness. If that same friend falls in the same spot every single week and you keep running over, and they never once try to move away from that spot, you are not helping them anymore. You are making it comfortable for them to stay down. Nietzsche wrote that pity, the kind that does not expect the other person to grow, is not compassion. It is a quiet form of contempt. Real respect means believing someone is strong enough to carry their own weight. When you keep rescuing someone who is not trying to rescue themselves, you are not seeing them as strong. You are seeing them as helpless. And slowly, they start to see themselves that way too. And when you finally stop, when you get tired or life pulls you away, they feel abandoned. They feel like you failed them, even though you gave everything. That feeling of being failed, that is where the betrayal often comes from, not from cruelty, from a dependence that was never meant to last forever, but was never given a reason to end. Now, here is where it shifts. There's a difference between helping from strength and helping from fear. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Helping from fear sounds like this. I have to do this, or they will be upset. If I say no, they will leave. I do not want them to think I am a bad person. Helping from strength sounds like this. I want to do this. I have the energy for it. This feels right. One comes from a full place. One comes from an empty one that is trying hard to look full. When you only help from a full place, you help less often. But when you do help, it is real. No resentment underneath it. No silent scorekeeping. No part of you is waiting to be thanked or repaid. The people worth keeping in your life feel that difference immediately. They may not be able to name it, but they feel it. The ones who are only there for what you could give, they will drift, or they will get frustrated. They will say you changed. They will call you selfish. Let them. Their frustration is not a sign you did something wrong. It is a sign the dynamic is correcting itself. It is the sound of a pattern breaking, and patterns breaking always make noise. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. He watched people destroy themselves, not from what actually happened, but from what they were afraid might happen. Most of the giving you do comes from that same place. Imagining their face if you say no, feeling the guilt before there's anything to feel guilty about. That fear is what keeps you saying yes when everything inside you is screaming no. The prison was never them. The prison was that fear, and you built it one yes at a time. The moment you see it clearly, really see it, the door swings open. You were betrayed. That happened. You cannot undo it. But here is what nobody can take from you. Betrayal only has full power over you when your kindness is attached to a hidden need. When you help because you need to be needed. When you give because it is the only way you know how to feel safe. When you stay because leaving feels more frightening than staying. The moment you detach your kindness from that need, the moment you help simply because you are choosing to, nobody can use it against you anymore. They cannot take advantage of something given freely with no strings. They cannot make you feel guilty for something offered without fear underneath it. They cannot betray someone who was never performing kindness to earn love. That is what untouchable means. Not that no one can hurt you. Pain is still real. Loss still lands. But no one can reach into the core of who you are and pull out something you were holding on to for survival. Because your worth is no longer sitting in their hands. It never needed to be. You are not becoming hard. Hard people are just hurt people who decided the answer was to feel less. That is not strength. That is a different kind of trap. You are becoming whole. The version of you that helps when it is genuinely chosen. That says no without drowning in guilt. That loves without quietly disappearing. That gives without keeping a running score in the back of the mind. That version is not cold. That version is the most alive you have ever been. And it started the day someone betrayed you. Not because betrayal is good, but because it cracked something open that needed to be cracked. It showed you what was underneath all that giving. And what was underneath was someone who deserved far more than they had been asking for. You still do. If this channel has ever helped you see yourself more clearly, hit subscribe.